What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. First things first, this channel has reached 12,000 subscribers. I don't have a clapping thing right here, huh? Oh. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. I appreciate all the support. Now, let's get straight to the video. Today's video, we're going to react. I'm going to try to react to Jumpsuit Pablo. I've done a reaction to him before and didn't have a problem, but you never know. Now, this one is called Danny Masterson Special Prison Treatment? Question mark. Now, excuse me. I didn't know that he was sentenced. I know he was convicted of some really bad stuff. And Jumpsuit Pablo is giving his interpretation of some stuff. And I saw it and I listened to a little bit of it. And I said, you know what? This needs some clarification. And so I'm going to clarify as much as I can. Let's get to it.
Okay, I have another Danny Masterson prison update. I made a video about him last week, just announcing that he had finally been sent to North Kern State Prison. But we recently got a few more details about what his daily schedule is in prison, which pretty much what I expected, because I have also been through what he's going through right now, and pretty much any inmate in any prison system, no matter the state, has.
I kind of get what he's saying. He's saying he's been through the classification process, the intake process, but you've never been through California's, big dog. And as he talks more, I'll, jump in and clarify what I can from my experience. Have things changed? Things have changed a little, but I believe I'm going to be more on par, being that I'm from California. These videos, like when we're going to go through what he's saying, this is the reason why I would never be able to talk about another. Like people tell me, hey, why don't you talk about Rikers Island? I have no idea what goes on there. Talk about this other prison. It's in another state. I have no idea what their prison system is like. If I was to see something, I can say, well, in California, it's like this, so I don't know how they do it. But Jumpsuit Pablo has, he's stating a lot of stuff as if it's fact, and it's far from it. So let's get to it.
Has to go through when they first arrive, the reception and classification or evaluation process. And I explained a little bit last video. I'll go ahead and recap before I show you what his exact schedule is and some of the more key details of what he's allowed, what he's not, and this, what is this special privilege group U that it's called, that he's been placed into at this prison.
So I'll start there. Special privilege group. Okay. There's different categories. His special privilege group right now, and everyone else in his building, and everyone else that's in reception with him is going to be you. It's not a individual classification that, oh, this guy, oh, because of this, he's this, and oh, no, that guy. No, it's reception. He's unclassified. That's why he's the U. He's unclassified. Basically, that's the easiest way I could tell you. Everybody there is unclassified. So they're going to be privilege group U. And then you can transfer from one place to another, and until you see committee, you're U until you get classified. And then you're going to be, when you get to a new joint, you're going to be classified privilege group like A, right? But you're going to be A to B. A to B means you're not assigned to a job or education yet. Once you get an assignment there, then you would be A1A. A1A, that means you go full draw on canteen. A2Bs go half of the A1A's amount. Then there's C status. C status is those individuals that refuse to work. They want to sit in their cell, so they put them on C status. They don't get to come out to day room. They don't get phone calls. Like, there's a bunch of, but it's not, people are getting stuck on the word privilege. But you're entitled to certain privileges when you meet certain markers within the California Department of Corrections. So that's all that is.
So the reception, classification, evaluation process, basically that's when they're taking in these new inmates and they need to look at all the information about this inmate before they decide Do they need special housing? Do they need, to go to this prison? Would they be better at this prison? Do they need a more specialized prison, which is more of like a medical yard? It has, it's closer to a hospital, or just, more medical features, or, some yards. This is where if you have like certain types of prescription medications that you have to get.
Okay. He makes the CDC sound like a very caring place. They don't give a damn about your medical condition. They're looking at what his crime is, what level he is, as far as level 4, which he is. The L itself is going to put him on level 4. The L meaning the life sentence. The type of crimes are going to add points. I don't know if how many mitigating factors he's going to have to lower that initial, just the life part of what they're going to classify him as. But as far as them giving a damn about, like, no disrespect, but I'm thinking Jumpsuit Pablo was in a state where maybe medical is not, like, California doesn't give a damn about you medically. They just want your body so they can collect that money. They're gonna collect, I think, well, depending on if he gets on hot meds, psych medication, they can collect about $100,000 for this guy per year. He's money. That's all they care about, is the money. As far as them caring about it, well, let me just let him keep going.
They can't withhold that from you. You have to get. They generally, kind of group those inmates together on like a medical yard, they may call it. And so basically what they're looking at is, number one, have you ever been in prison before? If you haven't, don't worry about it. If you have,
worry about
what
it.
did your file look like the first time, or however many times you've been in prison? Did you have any stabbings? Did you have any assaults? Did you get caught with contraband? What are you known for? Are you a risk? Or do we already know that you're a problematic inmate? If so, you're probably going to go, to a worser yard off top.
Again, California goes by a classification system based on points. He's going to a level 4. Whatever he did in the county jail and all that, I mean, that could aggravate it. But there, again, the life sentence itself gave him level 4 points, and then they go from there. I don't see where he's gonna have enough mitigating factors to drop down to level 3. But let's keep going.
Other than that, it's pretty standard. They're gonna do the medical things, just a general checkup. It sounds more extensive than it is. They're gonna get your weight, they're gonna get your height, they're gonna put the little stethoscope on your heart, make sure you're beating.
All that takes one day.
Correct. Look in your ears and just make sure there's no immediate medical problems, so they can't get in any trouble for not doing what they need to do for you. They're going to ask you, do you have any medical problems? Is there anything on your medical history we need to know about? And if there's not, cool. Process is much faster and easier. And if there is, they're going to have to go look at that. And they mention in this update, this process could take up to 90 days. Now, it's more common, but we're talking your average inmate here, not a celebrity Danny Masterson. 30 to 40 days.
Okay. Once again, this guy is not from California. Obviously. California is one of the most overcrowded systems in the nation. It got so bad about 10 years ago, where the feds were actually going to take over. California was way over capacity. The system, the whole entire CDC, it was the most populated system. Now it's Texas because, and trip out, in California, they started sending people out to Oklahoma, Arizona, other out-of-state private prisons in order to try to act like the population in California was down, the population in the CDC. No, it's still the same count. They're still under the same count. So the feds had said you can't hide people, in other states. The problem was it was so overcrowded that medical was inadequate. Like there was no real. There was a whole lot of things going on. And now what I'm saying is this: I went in. I got busted in '93. I hit reception Wasco. I was never in Delano. That didn't even exist when I came in. The one next door, old Delano did, which was another reception center right next to the reception center I went to. When I entered in 1994, the average stay was 3 to 4 months, average. Then 10 years later, the average stay was 8 to 9 months. I don't know what it is now, but I promise you, Jumpsuit, you're nowhere close if you think that it's going to be a 30-day process. It's not going to be a 30. The only way it's a 30-day process is if he's expedited for safety and security reasons. They're not going to do that for him. I don't see it happening, but we'll see.
It's how long it takes. But it can take up to that long when you have all these special things coming in. Do you have prescription? Do you have things they need to look into and need to contact your primary healthcare provider and find out these things and get verification on these things? There's going to be a mental health check. They're going to have you come talk to a psychiatrist. They're going to ask you general questions just to see where you're at mentally. If there's any answers you give that set off alarms.
That's a 5-minute hearing. You go in there, hey, how you doing? You feeling? You hearing voices? You hear anything? No. Okay, thanks. Next. California's got way too many inmates, big dog. The whole medical thing, 1 day. Mental health thing, 1 day. It takes about 7 days to complete everything. They'll go to the education, do your GED, all that shit. It takes about 7 days. And then you're sitting around waiting for a counselor to get to you because the counselor is overwhelmed with a huge caseload. That's why you're sitting there so long in California. It's because there's so many fucking people.
Of course, they're going to ask you if you're feeling like unaliving yourself. Things like that. On top of that, they're going to look at your charge. What are you in here for? How much time were you sentenced to? Of course, they're not going to send you to a work camp yard if you're sentenced to life. That would be a huge mistake, a security risk. Why would that inmate not try to escape? He has nothing to lose. Things like that. That's your most basic example, but that comes into play when figuring out where do you need to go. All right. So that's what they're doing with him right now. I imagine it'll take the better part of 90 days just because he is a well-known celebrity. So they are, he's not going to be treated.
What would his celebrity have to do with it? They're going to fucking watch a couple seasons of the 70s show? It's not that. It's California's so overcrowded as far as the prison system. He's going to get the standard issue. He's going to sit in reception. He's not going to get a special treatment. He's going to sit in there like everybody else. And, maybe they have it back down to 3 months, 4 months. I don't know, but you'll be on it.
As quickly in and out as your average inmate who doesn't have all these special complications. Okay. So that's just to sum that up. Now, let's get into what his exact schedule is for day to day. It says in the article they've placed him in what is called Privilege Group U. Now, when you hear that, you might think, he gets privileges in the U group. What does that mean? Nothing really. It doesn't even mean he gets special privileges. It's kind of, from everything I've read, and I'll read it off to you here in a second, it lines up with everything that I've ever known inmates in my state to get as far as privileges or restrictions during this classification process. It's known, it's infamous, that period in your prison sentence is the worst because it sucks. Just to put.
No, sir. That is not going to be the worst part of this individual's sentence. He was convicted of some very bad stuff. And there is only one single place, one in the entire humongous California Department of Corrections where he will be able to go and maybe and possibly be safe, possibly, and that is the PSU in or PHU, excuse me, PHU in Corcoran, where Sirhan and Charles Manson and all them were housed. I don't see them placing him there. If he gets him some high-powered attorneys that can convince the CDC that he belongs there, maybe they send him there. If he does not go there, I promise you and everybody watching, because of his charges, he has not seen his worst day. And when he does see his worst day, that's just the current one. There's going to be another one that's worse. Another one that's worse. So, hate to be the Debbie Downer, but that's the reality.
Put it plain. You know, you're not allowed much freedom. You're only allowed usually about an hour. I mean, they call it 23 and 1 hour out of your cell, but that hour is broken up into, okay, 10, 15 minutes to eat breakfast, 15 lunch, 15 dinner, showers, usually 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, something like that. So it's very broken up. You're not just out for an hour. And
you eat in your cell, player, or you eat in the day room, depending on how they do it. California is different. So yeah, your breakfast is not counted as part of your yard. You are afforded certain rights under the Constitution. Not all rights are forfeited when you're incarcerated. The state is obligated to provide you with a certain amount of hours outside of the cell, or they can get hit with a cruel and unusual punishment 1983 civil rights lawsuit. So I don't know how it is wherever you are, wherever you were, where you did your time, but no, lunch is going to be in your cell. More than likely, most places in California, breakfast and dinner are going to be in your cell or in the day room, either or. And none of that counts as yard time. Showers are not counted as yard time. So there's that.
Maybe once a month you might get to go out for rec. If you're
whoa. See, he said that, and I'm not trying to, this guy's got a pretty big channel. And he said he's got details and he's going to tell you exactly, and he's not even close to it. I don't know where the details are coming from. But he's not going to get yard once a month. Unless things have drastically changed and laws have changed, he's going to get yard. And it's going to be more than once a month.
You're even there long enough to get that rec that time, one time a month. So Danny Masterson, let me read you straight off this article here.
Okay.
As Danny Masterson, 47, entered North Kern State Prison. On Wednesday, he's set to go through a process and be watched closely in the first 90 days. The actor, who was sentenced to 30 years to life, reportedly has to go through a reception and classification process that could last the first 90 days and will be in a group called Privilege Group U. TMZ reports that Danny's group will have strict restrictions, including no family visits, limited entertainment access, and no access to personal property. He also gets one phone call within the first week of entering the facility, and then for the remainder of his time in Group U, he only gets one call per month.
Okay, that has to be something new. Or at least way after I went through reception. Like I said, I was there, I believe, 3 months. I was there 4 months. I just counted off of my fingers way down here. I was there 4 months. There were no phones even in the building. Like the counselors and them, yeah, they had their phones, and the CO had their, their landline, but there were no phones in the building on the wall anywhere. No one, the whole 4 months I was there, no one during their reception time had phone access. So unless something new came, and you know what, I take that back. I do remember when they said people were staying there 8 months, 9 months, they had to start giving them certain privileges because they were already classified. They were waiting on the chain, they're waiting on a bus, they were given. So maybe that's still in effect. So if that's the case, then he must be or they must be keeping guys longer than 4 months again. I don't know.
Now, here's the thing about that. Nothing I read in that paragraph is any different than what I went through. Okay. I think the word privilege group, you or whatever, just throws you off and makes you think, oh, Hollywood and the privilege group. I bet he's getting rotisserie chicken every night, doesn't seem to be the case. I guess that's just what they call these different sections, and he's in that one. One phone call.
Again, he's unclassified. That's what they use for. He's just unclassified, period.
Your first week, that's how it was for me. One phone call a month after that, yeah. The family visitation and stuff, I mean, you're usually not even there long enough for your family to,
In California, you are there definitely long enough. It's a 2-week process. Sometimes it takes up to 30 days to get your visitors approved. When you are in reception, you don't even get contact visits. You're behind the glass. So, but yeah, when I was there, everybody was there long enough to get somebody approved.
Because you have to, anybody can't just walk in off the street and visit you. That you got to send out paperwork to this person. They have to fill it out. Who are they? How do they know you? How long have they known you? What's their name? All this information to make sure that you're not just getting random criminals and thugs to come see you. And the main assumption is they're coming to see you to smuggle in contraband, because that's the main worry with visitation. That's why they care about who comes to visit you and doing a screening process. So by the time any of that even happens, usually you're done with the classification process. And why that matters is once you're done and once he's done, he's not even going to stay at North Kern.
Why? Where do you get that from? North Kern is one of the biggest complexes in California. I think actually it is the biggest. I think they house more people now there than in any other institution in California. North Kern isn't only a reception center. They have multiple level 4 yards and various different level facilities, excuse me. He very well could stay there on the level 4. I don't know if they would put him on a level 4 180. I would think he's going to go to a level 4 270, and they damn sure have him right there in North Kern, so he very well could move over from reception to the yard.
State prison. This isn't where he's doing his time at. They're taking all this information in to decide where they're going to send him for this 30 years to life sentence that he has. So, all that he's not allowed, and he's limited entertainment access. There's no TV down there for the cell block. But when he gets sent to where he's going,
TV's in the day room. You can stand at your cell door and bug your cellie probably by standing at the damn cell door. But there's going to be a TV in the day room, not in your cell, but in the day room.
When there will be a TV. That's just how it is in any classification and reception area of a designated yard. No access to personal property. You're not even, it's not like you get to come in with a briefcase and a Chanel trunk full of your best clothes. I mean, he didn't come in with any property. I mean, his personal property is what they give him: state regulated soap, toothpaste, toothbrush, a comb, and maybe a pair of socks and a pair of boxers. I mean, that is his property. So I mean, he has access to that. I think personal property is the exact term they use when you want to order something like, it depends on what they allow there, but this could be something like a reading lamp, a Walkman radio, a hot pot just to heat up.
He pronounced every bit of that word. He said a Walkman. They don't even have Walkmans anymore, do they? Damn, this fool went back. You don't even look old enough to know about a Walkman.
Water for coffee and just things you can buy on commissary like ramen noodle soups and stuff. That's how you make your food. That's considered personal property. So he's not even allowed. No one there is allowed to buy any commissary or anything. So That's no different than anything I've ever seen. Doesn't seem like he's being treated any better or worse than your average inmate who's going through this process. That's what I'm trying to make clear here. Now it says Danny will.
No, he's not going to be treated better. He could be treated worse, though, but he's not going to be treated better. California don't give a damn.
Will apparently still have access to things like the yard and recreation services, but he won't get his full prison privileges until the classification process is finished. Sources close to him told TMZ he showed exceptional strength of mind and spirit during his time in the LA County Jail before he was transferred to North Kern, and he's feeling hopeful about his chances of winning his appeal. Well, I don't know about that. I'm not a lawyer. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. But as far as, the prison part, he's allowed to access the yard. Well, of course, you're allowed to go on the yard to eat. You got to walk to the cafeteria, get your food, and come back.
Again, he's in reception. He's not going to a cafeteria. They're going to bring his chow and everybody else's chow to the building, or they're going to eat in the building. As far as the yard is separated from the building. And even for an example, when you go to a regular joint, the yard, yeah, you have to walk the track to get to the chow hall, but you don't walk through the yard. You walk the track, yeah. So technically, yeah, I guess you're on the yard, but you don't get to go to yard. That's not counted as yard time. But in the reception centers, I believe it's still the same thing where the chow is brought to the building and then you're given a tray in the building. And you're either going to eat it in your cell or in the day room.
Back, I guarantee you, that's and you have to walk to see the psychiatrist. You have to walk to medical to see the doctor, and that's access to the yard. I don't know if if they're just trying to make it sound like he gets to go around and do jumping jacks and cartwheels all over the place. That's your access to the yard. It's nothing special. And recreation services, like I said, maybe once a month, you might go out for like 30 minutes. And just take in some sunlight. But yeah, other than that, it all sounds pretty standard to me. But again, the real thing here is, where's he going to be sent to after this process is done? I could see it taking more than the usual 30 to 40 days, maybe 60. That's kind of how it happened with Murdaugh, Alec Murdaugh. He's a high-profile guy. Took a little longer than average, but not too long. I've seen guys stay there 6 months. Who really have a lot of issues, and they just like check off everything in the book. I have this problem, this problem, this problem. So when he gets sent to his official yard, that's when I want to do some research. I want to find some guys who have done some time on that.
Should have done research on this one, big dog. I see that he got that YouTube plaque right there. You got a lot of subscribers, a lot of people watching you. California is different. Anytime you do a story on California, it's different than any other state because it's so overpopulated, overcrowded, and huge.
That yard, going to use my connections to reach out to them, get some information about how that yard really is, how it really runs, what he's really in for, and what his experience will really be like on that specific yard. Because you can't go by, old prison works like this and this happens here. It's really all about the yard. Every yard is different in many ways, and it's the same in other ways. But we need to find out where he's going. And then I'll look into doing some research on that. And then we can come up with a real analysis of what is he in for, right? So stay tuned for that. And if you want to see how that goes as I keep up with this story and these updates, hey, consider subscribing. And thanks for watching.
I think he said something about commissary too, getting canteen, that he won't be getting canteen. He definitely will get canteen. Everybody gets canteen there. You will be able to buy his soups and chips and everything else, his hygiene products. So again, this is maybe it's just different in other states, but in California, you're gonna get your canteen. You have to be there. Your funds have to land, and then I remember when I was in reception, I believe we all went on the same day. Once you get to a regular yard, they go by the last 2 digits of your CDC number. Anyways, that's my reaction. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I honestly, I was listening to it, and it just blew me away. It might not be as interesting to you guys as it was to me, and it was more interesting because it was like, this is why, as content creators, if we're in this genre, we have to have a little bit of diligence, you know. I cannot do a story on another prison system because I have no idea how it's ran. I would have to talk to somebody, and then even then I would probably want them to be on screen with me, even if it's StreamYard, to correct me, because I have no idea. But anyways, that's my video for the day. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and share it with somebody who you think might enjoy it. With that said, everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out.